Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Don't Tell Me How to Fan. My name's Josh Albrecht, and that's John Taylor. And I don't need to ask how he's doing because I know how he's doing. The same as me, going, what the fuck did I just watch? Just 2 hours and 59 minutes of frustration, and then block kick, win. Hooray! Packers beat the Bears 20-19.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this game. I mean, I'm really happy we won. I'm obviously never going to apologize for winning in the NFL. The other guys get paid too. The Bears are riding like the fired Coach Buff. That's a very real thing. But oh boy, do I have some serious qualms about the defense and some pretty specific players on top of it. So
yeah, I got problems with the defense, the offense, the everything.
Yeah,
with this Packers team, and we'll get into it. But let's just start with general feelings on this game because the fact that they won, it changes things, right? Like I was so mad. I was ready to do this podcast in the third quarter going, this team is not good. They are not as good as their record is, and everyone needs to wake up. Then they won. And then I was like,
and now you need to wake up, Josh, because I still think this team is underperforming. I think this team
of course
isn't yet to play as good as they are. Well, there is this thing at some point, if it's week 13, 14, and we're still having this type of feeling conversation, there is the point that you're coming to. It's like, maybe this team just isn't as good, but by every metric they're performing better than it feels. I'll tell you that much. And the things that they're doing wrong are just so disappointing. I don't know. I'm trying to speak in generalities, but
let me help you. Okay. I'm going to help you right now.
I'm dubious, but go ahead.
What you're feeling is based on what you know this team can do. There was no piece of this team last year, besides Aaron Jones, that left the team that went, oh man, this Packers team in 2024 is going to be, they're going to have to find it. We all saw that run they went on, and we went, okay, the experiment of, is Jordan Love the guy? Is Matt LaFleur going to be the head coach? What's going on with this? It's all over. It's done. This team proved, look out, NFL, the Packers are still here. Aaron Rodgers, who? That's what they proved. Then they came out this year with the same talent, if not more, right? McKinney's there. You got even more people where you're like, oh, let's go. New DC. You're like, yes, this is our guy. Let's get it. So you know what they can be. But if they never are that, then you at some point can no longer say, well, then we know what they can be. Because they haven't been it all year. We're basing it on last year and what we wanted it to be. It's the same players, but they're not performing the same way. The team is not playing the same way.
Well, okay, so we have to first of all, I wholesale reject what you just said. And I can break it down into parts. I'm going to tell myself how to fan, and how I want to fan is by telling you I don't agree with what you just said. I think there are aspects of this team that are performing exactly how you want them to perform, and there's parts of this team that are not. And that has nothing to do with who's here, who's not here, what they played last year. The fact of the matter is they're a top 5 offense in DVOA with all of the getting in their own way and tripping and stumbling over their own feet.
Okay.
They are still offensively moving the ball at an elite clip. The Packers averaged 8.5 yards per play today against what a lot of people think to be a top 10 defense and a top 5 secondary in the NFL. So what we're talking about, really, what I think it is the inexperience popping its head up in pretty severe situations. If we're just talking about the offense, The penalties, which were drastically down this game, which is awesome. Blocked assignments, drops, Jordan Love interceptions, be damned. He had one bad throw today, and it was the very bad throw. And I don't think you're going to feel better about it. Okay, you've been banging the interception drum. This is my peace offering to you. All of his other interceptions this season have been bad process leading to a bad result. I think this was a fantastic process, and for the first time all season, it was a skill issue. He just threw the ball poorly, which is not something Jordan Love has typically done.
That's fair.
So I feel not good about that, but at least it feels different. And that's exciting when you talk about the fact that he's thrown an interception in every single game he's played this year. So at least it's not more of the same.
So in football, moving the ball is good.
I think
scoring with the ball is better.
Yeah.
Packers struggling with the scoring. Okay.
Inside the red zone, absolutely. I mean,
that's how it works, John. You get to the red zone and then you score.
Well, just score outside of it.
Yeah, that's more difficult to do.
Not for this. Not for this offense. Wow,
so stupid. It's so stupid.
No, I get your point. I mean, at the end of the day, they need to They need to figure out what's going on with the red zone defense or offense. They went into the game ranked 29th, and I promise you, it's not getting any better. I mean, I just don't love the play calls. I mean, we might as well get into the specifics.
Suck. What is LaFleur doing?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the
thing.
Tell
me, John.
I'll tell you what he did. He called an RPO play, and Jordan Love needs to get that ball out faster, period. The linemen know to hang back for so long. Jordan Love has to know that if it's an RPO play call, he's got to hand that ball off or kill that ball way faster. That is just bad. That's just inexperience showing its head. You know what I mean? The whole reason RPOs work is that beautiful sliver of time where it actually could be a run or a pass within the rules of where the linemen are allowed to be downfield or not be downfield for that matter. So that for one, terrible play. I don't understand the next call, and I can't defend it even in that way for Matt LaFleur. Why are you doing a backfield sweep with Jaden Reed on 2nd and 6? It's a bad call. Run the ball down the middle. Do play action.
Yeah, every time. You have Josh Jacobs. I'm sorry.
Well, here's the problem, though. But you're going to say that, but then later in the game, they handed the ball off 3 times to Josh Jacobs, and nothing came of it, and everyone said, why are they running the ball? Sometimes it's not – the situation does not always dictate – yes.
In the red
later
zone,
in the game. Yeah. When we turned over the ball on downs. When we turned the ball over on downs.
It was 3 runs straight up the middle. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true.
It was at least 2. I'm just saying, I remember feeling like, oh, everyone was complaining we didn't run, and now everyone's complaining that all we did was run. So I just think I like varying. I want to see them throw the ball, but what I don't want to see is all of the extra stuff. Just if you are going to run the ball and you want to use motion, do a misdirect, but ultimately get Jacobs the ball running north and south quickly. You know, that's how I feel about it. If you're going to pass the ball, but do play action. Make it not so obvious what we're going to do. In that second red zone drive, at one point they had Malik Heath and Bo Melton on the field as our wide receivers. Like, if you're not telegraphing to the Bears that we're going to run, I don't know how you could do it more than by having the personnel group be that. Like, it's just obvious. So
I wanted to pull this up. So on the 1st and goal from the 8, where it was a turnover on downs, I don't know exactly what the play was, but yes, the ball went to Jacobs twice.
Mm-hmm.
One was for a loss of a yard. The next one was for a gain of 4 yards. And then from there, Love got sacked for a loss of a yard, and then he scrambled for. But I just, like we saw when the one time in the red zone where they did something, it was ground and pound. You had 3 downs to get 10 yards, and you gave it to him. If you're not going to do that, if you're not going to use Jacobs that way, then get creative. Do some fancy shit. Use that big old beautiful brain of yours, LaFleur. Find something. Do something.
Yeah. I mean, the red zone offense has been bad since Hackett left, and Hackett can't hack it literally anywhere else.
Well said.
So thanks. I feel good about it, even though
Yeah.
I don't like this topic. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know who's in charge of what they used to refer to as the gold zone. I don't know where these play calls are, but they turtle up in really weird ways. And I think they are a team, and I think this is a shortcoming of the Matt LaFleur schemed offense. They do way better with 20 plus yards of field to operate in once that field shrinks. And I know this is a problem every offense goes through. So this is, I am still saying it's a Matt LaFleur problem, and while recognizing it's a problem for the entire league, but the field shrinks in a way that he can't run a lot of the things that allow for people to get open, a lot of the things that allow for more unique run plays. I mean, I don't know. I think 2nd and 1, that penalty was a total drive killer, period.
Yeah.
It just was.
Sure.
And I don't think they did much in the way of them having any favors with the rest of those play calls. So
the 2-point conversion was a perfect example in my mind of LaFleur. What the hell are you doing? That was the weakest. Hey, we get this. We force him to kick a field goal to tie it. Attempt I'd seen. I was like, okay, all right. I mean, Watson, what a game, right? Steps up, gets him there. They finally get in the end zone. I'm like, hallelujah. And then it's just like just nothing, just a garbage attempt that immediately gets stuffed. It didn't fool the Bears even a little bit. They knew what was happening the whole time. I'm just like, oh, it's so frustrating to watch that. I just want some creativity in the red zone. Is there a LaFleur can't do it? We need to find a different guy. Then go find a different guy. Have someone else just work on from the 10 to the end zone. Because apparently Watson is going to have these amazing catches and get us 65 yards to end at the 8 or to end at the 6. Not going to get all the way in. So there's got to be something. I can't go through this as a fan watching this Packers team and going, damn, I wish he would have been outside the 20. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's bad. I mean, like I said, there's no real defense. I just think like all the other things that we've been talking about all season that are frustrating. I just think that it can be turned around. These aren't the things. The offense is not going to be the reason this team doesn't make a deep push in the playoffs. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much. I think right now the offense is making some really unfortunate mistakes due to inexperience. And I think execution is standing in the way of this offense truly looking as potent as it should. Because there's really no reason that the Packers should have had the ball for as little amount of time as they did today, too. That's the other big thing. The time of possession. We lost the time of possession battle by almost 13 or 14 full minutes.
Yeah.
That's inexcusable against a Bears offense that was reeling. And, hats off to Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams looked amazing today.
I mean, he made a lot of throws that I think
he made a lot of plays with his feet, too.
Totally. And that was born out of the fact that the Packers had to respect the fact that he was throwing the ball well. He wasn't throwing the ball downfield, but he was throwing well. He was getting the ball out in rhythm early. So, they kind of took all of the thinking off of his plate. I think it's very obvious. This new OC told Caleb, hey, we're going to do quick checkdowns. If they're not there, look to run. It seemed like he was way more willing to pull that ball and move. And I just think, I don't know. I just think Hafley was like really slow to the take on fixing it today.
You know who else was really slow? The defensive line for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh yeah.
We're in no hurry to get to Williams at all.
Yeah.
The man had all the time he wanted today.
Yeah, this pass rush is the reason the Packers will not make a deep playoff push. If they can't figure out a way to impact the game more consistently. Because on the stat sheet, sure, it looks great. They got 3 sacks. 2 of them were Brenton Cox. Wow. But the fact of the matter is he was unblocked in both of those situations. he basically walked straight to Caleb Williams and said, I weigh 200 more pounds than you, so enjoy the ground, you know?
Yeah.
And that's no knock on him. I mean, part of being an NFL player is making the plays that are given to you. Like, how many times have we watched people over pursue and then not make those plays? So hats off to him. I mean, Rashawn Gary, probably that sack was probably the only elite play he's made all season.
Yeah.
The one time he finally converted speed to power and actually was able to make the offensive line.
Which a lot of people were giving him flowers on that. They were like, "Oh, there he is." You know, I saw a lot of tweets today. People saying, "Where the hell is Rashawn Gary?" Oh, never mind. No. I'm not. That one sack was not enough for him to get off.
Well, the problem too is at this point, maybe in that exact moment, I would have said, "Oh, great," but we gave up a 3rd and 19 shortly thereafter. So
yeah, I mean, what was it? 4th and 6, 4th and
sure. Yeah, but we had him at 3rd and 19 and
3rd
we
and
let
19.
them drive the ball 15 yards downfield. Like, it's just soft, bad coverage. I don't know, man.
After 2 sacks, I just And here's the reason why I refuse to calm down about how this Packers team is right now, because as all this is happening, the Lions literally killed the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, it was like 1,000-2. I mean, the game was over before it started. That's your competition. That's your division competition. That's your competition that you're going to have to go through if you're going to win it all. And then we saw this Packers team. They're not even in the same area of skill or readiness or anything. And so I'm going to judge this Packers team because I know what they have to face to get over that mountain. And they're nowhere near it. They're nowhere near it, man. The mistakes, the just honestly, watching the game today, I was thinking to myself, like, what's the move? Like what are the Packers? Who do the Packers move? Who do they change? Is it a personnel issue? Like, are they going to have to like draft? Like, are we already looking to like next year's draft because they don't go out and get free agents? Like, I'm having those thoughts.
Yes, I hear you. Let's pause for a brief second because you've thrown a lot out, and I would like to try to parse through some of this.
Okay, fine.
The Lions are the best team in the NFL. The sooner Packers fans can wrap their heads around that, the better we'll all be. Is there a world where maybe we could keep winning and we could maybe potentially push them for the NFC North? Maybe. I mean, statistically, we're not out. But what I am saying is, like, they are head and above better than every single NFC team. And it's not even particularly close. It just isn't. So we as Packer fans need to just start going, how do we become the 5th seed? We need to figure out how to get to the 5th seed. We need to put ourselves in the best position to avoid the Lions as long as we can. Because who knows? Maybe somebody else can catch them on an off day and we don't have to run into them. I think it's a David and Goliath situation. I think after this week, I know I said, hey, we're still playing the Lions. We still get them in their field, but we played them well. Who knows what will happen? I'm off on all that. They're better than us every way.
They're better than everybody.
They're better than everybody. So that makes me feel better. You can't help the fact that they sucked for 25 years and were able to draft good players in almost every position. And they're in a position to spend because they're not dealing with the fallout of having a bunch of dead cap from signing and trying to win a Super Bowl for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
The Packers are here way sooner than we should be. And so I'm not saying this is house money because this is what this team is, and the team is ready and should be competing. I'm never going to give a team a pass for that. But specifically about that point about the Lions, like, let it go, guys. Not you. I just mean, I hear it. I can't believe the Lions are this good. Like, what are we planning?
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're talking about a race where we're running a 100-yard race and they started 50 yards ahead of us.
Yeah.
You know, it just is what it is. So what I can do as a Packers fan right now, because I would never, and I mean never, tell anyone else how to fan.
Yeah.
I need to see the Packers start playing to 90+% of their potential before the playoffs hit. And they aren't particularly close. And so when I read some of these metrics to you about like their offensive DVOA, the turnover differential, how exciting it was and how it isn't, and how I think that might be affecting it, it's just one of these things where it's like, if we can see these flashes enough, we should see that expand. And we have the context of last year knowing, okay, at some point they kind of figured it out. And I'm not happy with these results. A win today is awesome because I just didn't want to fall to 6-4, you know,
or lose to the Bears.
Yeah, whoever wants to do that,
right?
Not me. We haven't done it since 2018,
right?
So, but what I mean is just that in this specific situation, that's all they can do. I mean, the next point you made was about like draft picks, personnel. I mean, let me ask you this: do you think if they knew Jair Alexander's injury concerns would still be cropping up like this, do you think they would have selected Jordan Morgan in the first round? Because I don't. Yeah. I think they would have drafted Cooper DeJean. I think they would have maybe made a bigger play on Terry and Arnold. You know, I think they would have done something about it because, boy, howdy, when he's not out there, our cornerback room is bad. Eric Stokes is, maybe it's the injuries, maybe that first year was a fluke, but he is not an NFL caliber starting cornerback in the league right now. And Keyshawn Nixon cannot be your number 2. They were picking on him all day long. And for whatever reason, they finally moved to Ballantyne towards the end of the game, but he's should
have been way earlier.
Totally. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has been getting no burn whatsoever for who knows why. And then being
not because everyone else is doing well.
Yeah.
It's not because he's sitting behind talent on the field.
Right.
That's not happening.
Yeah. So I don't know.
With the secondary, though, you know what helps with that?
What?
If the line creates pressure
100%.
to force the quarterback to make a bad throw.
Yep. We said
you
this.
Have the best secondary in the world. If the quarterback has 15 seconds to throw the ball, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I agree. You're 100% right. The defense was the issue for this game. 100%. Like to the point where we can talk about those 2 red zone drives and how we wish they ended differently. But if the Packers defense just played even a little better, we had probably 3 more drives in us. You know, we made the Bears offense look competent. We made their line look good. And I get that they got some pieces back. There was some addition by subtraction by getting rid of that one tackle that they paid too much money for. Like, I understand that the last couple of games they've been dealing with enough injuries that it's really colored the perception. But this defense was getting buoyed by a ton of turnovers. And now that they aren't forcing turnovers, they are getting found out for being pretty pedestrian. And this is actually I think
they were also on the field a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like you can't, if they're not getting a breather, they're going to be a step behind.
Sure. I just think that
I just get off the field.
Yeah. I just think the cracks in our defense are becoming painfully aware or painfully obvious in addition to what you're saying, because we all said in the beginning, it's going to take a while for the defense to really kind of click. They're installing a new defense. It's going to take some time. You know, I think most Packers fans understood that. But all of a sudden, we're turning the ball over left and right. Oh, this is really exciting. This scheme is putting guys in opportunities. Oh no! All of a sudden, there's some pretty serious injuries in the secondary. All of a sudden, X isn't roaming around as free because he's having to make up for a lot of mistakes or try to cover up lack of talent. I mean, this by far was Xavier McKinney's worst game as a Packer. Do I think he's going to play as bad as he did today? Because he didn't play great. I love X. I still think it's a fantastic signing. I don't think he plays this bad again this season. I think this was like an all-time stinker for him. And it's unfortunate, but
even he doesn't play as well if the quarterback has all day to
no, of course not.
Or to scramble. Defenses, it takes both sides of the coin. You can't have a secondary that you're expecting is going to perform perfectly if they're just running around in circles because the ball hasn't been thrown yet. It starts up front.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That is my biggest qualm with all this is I don't know what the solution is to the line problem. Is there someone on the bench right now that should be in there instead? Is there like I don't know that there's a solution.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's not a guy. There's not a guy. There's not a guy in the bench that I think is going to challenge Enigbari for the number 2. There sure as shit isn't anybody who's gonna. You could sit Gary down and make an example of. even his worst play is still the best edge rusher we have on the team. And like I said, I heard some people say like, well, why would you trade Smith? I mean, he asked for the trade and he was not playing great for us, period. It just wasn't happening. So it's like, I think that part potentially, but I don't know. There was a couple plays early where I just think the Packers weren't doing themselves any favors. Like there was Enigbare had a pretty clean shot on Caleb and he just over pursued him instead of setting the edge. We have played really well against rushing quarterbacks. And I don't know if the Packers, because of how bad he's been throwing and how much he's been sacked, they didn't think they needed to game plan for an elite mobility quarterback, but that's what Caleb Williams was. And we looked so surprised by that. We absolutely got caught with our pants down at the speed at which he plays the game. I mean, there was that.
He's not Lamar. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not like he's a quarterback that was out there just juking like he's not that type of guy. We just made him look like that type of guy today.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a guy who's going to be who's looking to throw the ball before he runs. And some of the best running quarterbacks, I can't always say that's the case, but it's unfortunate because my guy Edgerrin Cooper, I mean he got burned twice today, and I think like it's probably the biggest reason why when I kept saying why is he not playing more. I mean, two really bad angles. I mean, the first one, I think he was specifically caught a little flat-footed, surprised about that stick that Caleb did and how much he was able to get around him. But the second one in particular, later in the game, he's the QB spy. You have to take a better angle to that because Edgerrin Cooper he's too fast. I mean, athletically, it's not even like so. It's just technique, and I think those are probably the things that you see on tape or the coaches see in practice. And that's what's been giving him pause about just wholesale making him the starter. But the two best linebackers on the Green Bay Packers right now are Edgerrin Cooper and Eric Wilson. And I don't understand how, and I get that they're shifting out, but I do not understand what Quay Walker is doing that he seems to be impervious to benching or this rotation. And I don't know, like, the amount of score watchers who are going to say, or like box score watchers who just say, well, he leads the team in tackles. It's like, but they're 15 yards downfield because he's chasing guys down because he's never in a position to stop a play behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, in that touchdown, he had contact behind the line of scrimmage on DeAndre Swift, and he still was able to get past him and then run 3 yards into the end zone. He's so bad. Like, by a lot of metrics, and your mileage may vary on like PFF and everything like that, but he's grading out to be one of the worst NFL players in the league right now. It's not even at the linebacker position. And here he is, our fearless Will. He's going to come out every game. He's going to play every single snap. He's going to rah-rah the guys on the sideline. My brother in Christ, you're playing the worst on the field. Your inability to close to the ball makes everyone's life harder. It's unforgivable. And if they're not going to try out other guys, I think Herman might have said this, so I am biting him. Just sign him to a 10-year contract. If it's already a foregone conclusion we're not going to do it, then at least stop pretending like you brought in all this talent to have the best players win, because it's not him. I would have rather seen Tyron Hopper out there. Like, if we're going to watch a bunch of...
seen you out there.
No, I'm not fast enough.
I would have seen... I
appreciate that. I have a lot of heart, though, and I definitely wouldn't push...
Well, that's more than him.
I wouldn't push a Bears coach.
You know what he reminded me of? Like, seeing like his stats. Remember seeing like a stat line with Blake Martinez at the end of the game?
Yes.
To where I'd be like, I didn't see one impactful play. Yep. And then it's like he had like 9 tackles. And I'm like, when? Where were those? It was like, okay. Like
7 yards downfield where the running back met him.
Quay is. Blake Martinez is Quay Walker. Quay Walker is Blake Martinez. It's
Blake Walker.
Sure, you're getting your numbers, but you're not helping the team.
Yeah.
That's what I care about.
Yeah. Yeah. He does not positively affect the team in the slightest. And part of this whole okay. I'm actually fired above the defense because I don't understand why they have answers and they're just so unwilling to try something different, because this isn't working. You're jamming a square peg in a round hole by playing these guys, because the only way to make your linebackers not look completely useless or a liability is by generating pass rush. It's by forcing off-platform throws, and we're not doing it. And so they're just feasting. They're feasting on the linebackers. I mean, most of Keenan Allen's throws were on linebackers, and Keenan Allen can't generate separation. But at the end of the day, like, Quay's not talented enough to pass break. He had one good play. Oh, cool. He broke up that one play. He was so bad that I don't even care. Like, hey man, I would almost rather you give up that spectacular play and just meet some running backs in the proper gap and then tackle them. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering. Do you remember that penalty that was, well, it wasn't a penalty. There was a play where Caleb Williams ran up the A gap for 5 yards and got a first down. And do you know why he knew to do that? Do you remember the play I'm talking about?
No.
Quay Walker bid on a hard count and immediately showed that he was going to blitz and didn't call out of it, didn't do anything. He literally jumped the gap over the center. So if that wasn't the A, whatever. I'm talking in real time here. It's stream of consciousness stuff. Either way, he lets them know where they're blitzing. Caleb Williams calls him out as the hot 777. He does not change the route. He doesn't do anything different. He just blitzes his merry way. And all Caleb Williams does is just run right where he should have been if he would have actually thought Quay was going to drop into coverage. I mean, he's an athletic player, and I don't think he's smart enough to play linebacker at the position, like at the skill we need him to. He's just not. And it's getting laughable. There was another play where Caleb Williams was scrambling left past the line of scrimmage. Okay, I understand that maybe he didn't see it in real time, but you need to know where the line of scrimmage is on a third down. He's scrambling out. Caleb Williams is past the line of scrimmage. Quay Walker, full sails, turns his back to Caleb and continues covering a guy who he cannot even throw it to. And that guy was on a route to the flat, saw Caleb scrambling, and in clearly a drill just starts driving downfield to create that separation. I don't care if 99% of the league makes that play or like does what Quay Walker did. The fact of the matter is that's all Quay does is because he's acting on instincts, and his instincts are dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't bite my tongue about it anymore.
No, the worst part about it is that there's no sign that change is coming. Right. And I pray that LaFleur and the coaches do not look at this game and go, a win is a win, and change nothing.
They can't. They literally cannot.
For 99.9% of this game, you were losers.
Yeah. I mean, they were ahead to start the game, and then they trailed all the way until like that final drive. Yeah, they can't burn the tape. This isn't one of those like, oh, this game's so bad, we're lucky. It's like, it's too indicative of exactly what this team has been. And I don't know what kind of self-scouting they were doing, because it seemed like the Bears really were preying on a lot of pretty obvious tells in the secondary, in the flats against our linebackers. And so if we had a bye week, what were we doing to be better if there was no new tape and the Bears just continued operating as normal? And I do want to give the Bears credit in the fact that their new, I forget, the new OC, I said, clearly had them throwing in rhythm and getting the ball out and allowing his athleticism to carry Thomas Brown. I mean, who knows? You know what tape they might have watched? They might have watched Malik Willis's tape. Hey, here's a guy who maybe can't make every throw right now, but he's going to be able to run the ball if we don't put too much on his plate. They really simplified the game for Caleb Williams, and it showed. He made a couple huge throws when he needed to. Like, I don't know also if Packer fans, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Caleb Williams is not going to be bad.
No, but also
he's just not.
This was the best Caleb Williams game I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, Caleb Williams played his best game today.
Yeah. And I don't think
with an L.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's Bears culture.
Yeah.
That's Bears culture to watch a guy have a good game, but because it was a loss, and then look at the whole picture and go, well, we got to start over.
Yeah.
So I hope that he continues to have a great career,
Yeah.
out of the division.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's going to be pre-week 10, post-week 10. Okay, I'm assuming Caleb is going to look like a way better quarterback now that they've made the moves. I think this OC is like clearly unwilling to. I think this game is going to look a lot simpler. They're going to simplify this game for Caleb Williams a lot more. The old offensive scheme was we're going to drop Caleb Williams in the offense we want to run, and we are not interested in taking it all off his plate. Like, that's supposed to be some sort of compliment to him. He can't process the game as fast, so make it simpler, man. If you're going to name a starting quarterback in May, you should have been spending the whole time. And listen, this is not me defending the Bears. Honestly, I hope they put more on his plate and they over encumber him, and by the time we see him again, it's not going to matter. But I can't really even take too much pleasure in the fact that they still got the loss because of how bad the defense looked. I really cannot, and I am not a sour guy. I try to look in the positives, but this defense needs to take a cold, hard look in the mirror and try to figure out what their identity is. Because right now it's pretty laughable up and down the roster. I think the personnel here, I don't know what it is. This configuration of players just doesn't work. All the mainstays, like, I love Kenny Clark. I know he's injured or something, but he's not producing. Rashawn Gary, we gave him that massive contract. He's not producing. Jair Alexander, massive contract. Can't be on the field, I just wonder, how the offense lost Rodgers and a ton of the Rodgers hangers-ons. There's some hangers-ons that I think Goody is just unwilling to let go. And I'm just wondering, like, they don't fit together. It's not as harmonious as it should. This should not feel so clunky for how many first-round picks are on the field. It's just gross, and I don't get it, and I don't love that after the bye week, this is the conversation we're having. But
I said that this was going to be the case, though. I know that LaFleur's had a few good games post-bye week, but I had a feeling that they were going to come out flat, And they had that first drive, the scripted drive, great.
Yeah.
Start the game, Packers look great. Then as soon as you got to figure things out and it becomes a chess match, it was same old Packers.
Yeah. Well, the chess match specifically is definitely on Hafley. I mean, they made it obvious they were going to be doing a lot of wide receiver screens to DJ Moore. I feel like I mumbled most of that sentence. I feel like they did a lot of wide receiver screens to DJ Moore. I don't know. I'm sorry I said that twice. But I think that it became very obvious that they were going to get the ball out at the line of scrimmage and they were going to allow design picks and rubs to try to get guys downfield. And I just think it took way too long for us to move into press coverage. And if you're going to say it's a personnel issue, it's like, you got to get burned that way. The whole point of this whole, like, Hafley change up on defense was everyone was saying, hey, we want them to play more man. We want to see a more aggressive style of defense. And now all the pundits and even the coaches were like, hey, we're going to live and die by being aggressive. And it's like, why did it feel like I was watching a Joe Barry defense then? We were playing soft man zone. Like, I would have much rather have watched press and DJ Moore juke somebody out of their jockstrap. And I go, man, that's a great play. Hats off to him. Like, I thought the whole point of this defense was to be competitive. And let the athleticism shine through. And I didn't see competitiveness or athleticism on the field today. So no. I think you're right. I think the bye, there is no such thing as a trap game in a divisional. Like, the Bears want to beat the Packers. They have lost 10 games that Matt LaFleur has yet to lose to the Bears. And today he should have, but you're not telling me the Bears want to beat the Packers so bad. It's almost so bad. Hilarious to watch. They were so weirdly and aggressively chippy early. It's like the Mad Men, the John Hamm in the elevator.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't even think about you at all. That's the energy the Packers have to this Bears team. The Bears are hold the elevator. I got to say my pithy remark. And it's just like, the Bears are so little bro status. It's not even funny, but this game absolutely felt like everybody in the league is talking about how bad the Bears are and how unsalvageable this season is. And I just think the Packers walked in being like, yeah, it's that bad. It's that unsalvageable. And this isn't burn the tape. This is like, you should be embarrassed. The defense should feel absolutely embarrassed. There was not a lot of pride.
It's more
on
the
display.
Defense, though. LaFleur should too. I'm sorry, he's got to figure this red zone shit out. He's got it. Especially knowing that the defense is struggling, you cannot afford to come away with 0 points or 3 points even in situations like that. You can't. You're in the red zone. You got to find a way to get in the end zone. You got to. And it's just, I have zero faith in this red zone offense right now. Zero.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Figure it out. God. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, we won.
Yeah, but the
Packers improved.
Dogs.
The Packers got. I mean, hey, Carl Brooks is right where he should be. Apparently, let's talk about the positives. Apparently,
he didn't get like a MVP of the game.
Well,
what do you mean? Well, he was the only. He was the only
Yeah.
person. Like they talked to Love after the game. Aaron Andrews was talking to him. I was like, why? What did Jordan Love do today that made him microphone time worthy?
Well, I can tell you he went 13 for 17 for
Mhm.
261 yards, and he had 113 quarterback rating. So the one interception, which he threw, he played incredible football. The problem is that they ran so well, he didn't have to do much. I mean, 106 yards of rushing. Josh Jacobs looks every bit as what we need out of a running back. Aaron Jones was giving you way more in terms of playmaking, but in terms of just being a workhorse running back, Josh Jacobs is gelling with this offense masterfully, in my opinion. And I think, when we talk about, remember, I want to circle back to the offense a little bit. We did bring it up. So I'm going to take some victory laps here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said Christian Watson needs to get involved in the game more. He can't just be the guy running over the top. And he had his first real impactful game.
I mean, incredible game.
Yeah.
I mean, the catches he made. I think, what did he have, 4 or 5 catches? Like, it wasn't like he had like 8 catches, but the catches he made were highlight reel. Like all of them. I mean, double coverage, diving, no one near him, and then getting up and running for another 40 yards. I mean, incredible stuff.
Yeah, 4 receptions, 150 yards. I mean,
Yeah.
a 60-yard catch will do that. I mean, he ran a lot of that. That was an incredible catch. He kept the secure of the ball. Yeah, I mean, I just think it was great. Jaden Reed only 2 receptions, 23 yards. I don't understand why he's getting relegated to the gadget role, kind of in the same way that Christian Watson was relegated to the MVS role from days of yore. I think they get obsessed with this idea of using guys as decoys that they forget that first and foremost, they're just actually good football players. Like the reason why Jaden Reed in the gadget works is because they're terrified about what he's going to do if he gets the ball in his hands. So here's a crazy idea. Have him run a 10 and out and just get the ball in his hands. Yeah. I don't really understand. He had the one ending around for -5. So they did not. I mean, I think, what was it? No running back had more than 2 rushes except for Josh Jacobs. So Emmanuel Wilson had two rushing attempts, and then Josh Jacobs had 18 rushing attempts. So this whole idea that we were talking about last week heading out of the bye week was they need to start getting the ball to their actual playmakers. It can't be so spread out. They need to have like a more earnest game plan. I think we saw that today, which I think is a huge positive. Does not change the fact that the red zone offense has been uninspiring. But these are the few things I'm trying to remind myself. They are doing the things that good. And I mean, I'm not mad at the offense. You are.
I am mad at the offense.
Yeah, I'm not. I think if they had 2 or 3 more Matt Arnold bites of the apple.
Oh, why would you say that? You're doing that on purpose.
I'm not
riled up.
I'm not.
That's exactly what you're doing.
I think if they had 2 or 3 more red zone opportunities, they probably would have converted a few, and maybe the 2 that got missed wouldn't be so severe.
Yeah, that will be satisfactory.
2 more touchdowns makes this game feel a lot different, clearly. And I think part of that was what I'm mad about, which is the fact that the defense just looked so bad today. Looked so bad.
So we've been talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We got the Niners coming up next.
Yep. Easy win.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's an easy win.
Yeah.
It's an easy win. I got the Packers winning 27-24. Easy win.
Yeah, easy win.
I don't think it's going to be an easy win, but I think it's going to be infinitely more competitive. I think the good teams,
the team that always finds a way to beat us. Yeah.
The good teams get the best out of the Packers. they play down to their competition a lot. And I think that the 49ers are in a similar spot the Packers are right now, where they're dealing with a lot of adversity. Theirs is way more injury related, clearly, but Purdy has come down to earth a little bit. CMC is just getting his wheels back. Like, this game is significantly less scary than I had it as a for sure loss heading into the season, and I don't have it that way. They're coming to Green Bay. I think they win. I still think
they win by 3.
I think they win by 3. I'm going 27-24. And I think it could be a situation. It could be a situation where we're down 24-20 and we march the ball downfield. I would not be surprised if that was a situation to get it to 27-24. Because the Packers have shown when they need to get the ball downfield, they can do it.
Yeah.
This game too, they absolutely started pushing the ball downfield when they needed to, and they were able to take advantage of it. So,
all I've decided at this point, and I still have a few minutes before I have to make my prediction. All I've decided at this point is that the Niners are going to score at least 33 points.
I don't see how, but I appreciate that.
How do you not see it?
Based
on how great this defense looks right now.
Purdy can't
based on how talented they are, how disciplined they are, how polished they are, how healthy they are. There's not one thing about this defense right now besides Xavier McKinney that has me excited at all.
Fair.
One guy. That's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully I can't wait to figure out what's up with Jair. We need him bad. Say whatever you want about him in general. They need him bad. And he's the only guy.
He hasn't even been playing like super elite. He's just a million.
He's just not a liability. Right. He's just not a liability, which is, I mean, he doesn't get thrown out a lot. The league respects him. They were abusing Ballantyne and Nixon today because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
These are the guys, So we'll see. We'll see. We will see. The offensive line played really well.
Yeah.
There, like I said, there was, I truly think if you were to rewatch this game in a few days, specifically the offense, I think you would be not as upset as you are right now. And I don't know if I can say the same for the defense because it was pretty fucking bad. But
here's the thing, and this is what I love about doing a podcast with you, because you can look at tape and blah 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 and break down plays and
you can look at tape too, for the record.
Yeah, man. I watched the game and I tell you the feel of the game, the feel of the team, the feel of the game. There was no positive at any point. When there were exciting plays, it was surprising. I wasn't like, yes, that's what I expect. I didn't expect Watson to have those catches. Not even a little bit. Those were extremely difficult catches. And those were the plays. This game and the way this team is playing does not make me feel confident in them to win a football game against the Niners or the Vikings or even the Bears the next time they see them.
Sure.
There's nothing this team is doing right now that when I watch the energy and the way that the team looks on the field, there's nothing that makes me go, look out. I don't like that, John. They're finding ways to win, and I know that's important, right? Love's out. Malik Willis comes in. They're still finding ways to win. LaFleur sets up a game plan, and it works. Amazing. Great. They play an absolutely awful game. They still find a way to come away with a win today against the Bears. Awesome. Right? You need those to make future podcasts even relevant, because otherwise we're talking about a team we're already talking about next year. But I'm looking at long-term, all season, playoffs with this team. I don't feel it. I don't feel that this team has it right now. I don't feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what can change.
Yeah. Well, all I can do is week over week just point out things that are pathways to the feeling that you want to feel. That's all. But I will say Josh Jacobs played incredible. They threw the ball down the field when they needed to. A bad offense doesn't just move the ball 8.5 yards downfield, especially passing. So
they still have to score.
And they still have to score. which they did enough by 1 point. Thanks to Carl Brooks.
You can move 90 yards if you don't get in the end zone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Bisaccia did say, by the way, that he apparently pregame, he said that we're going to get hands on the field goal. So apparently they knew something about that operation, that it was low snaps, low kicks. So that was kind of cool to see. But you're not going to talk your way out of this beautiful give me feelings check-in. What's the score against the 49ers?
Damn it. You would bring that back. What did you say?
I said 27-24.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I did. And I explained how, and I explained how it was going to happen.
I'm going to say 35-28 Niners.
Yeah, you can't. As I say, you can't, unless you think they were going to score more than 35. Do we want to do a weird bet for this one? For some reason, I feel particularly crossed by this prediction by yours.
Here's the other thing too, okay, is that I was at that playoff game when it was so fucking cold.
Yeah.
Where they just blew it and the Niners kicked that field goal. And I knew when they got the ball back that it was over. And so I'm still a little hurt by this game. And I don't believe that the Niners have changed enough to where they won't find a way to screw us over again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think you can go on a 5-minute diatribe about emotions and feelings and then be subjective about this specific game with the score prediction. So I get it. It.
Thank you.
So you don't want to do a bet because I particularly crossed at you because now it's not even the score prediction because we're on opposing sides. You think the Niners are going to win. I think the Packers are going to win.
Okay, cool. I will buy you pizza in Milwaukee. You come here.
Okay.
Pizza bet in Milwaukee.
Wow. So you just know that you have about 13 months to figure that out.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And I gotta.
I know it didn't have to be money. I was going to be like we could.
No, you know what? You know what?
I was going to be like we both could like chug a soda on camera and see. Who, you know what I mean? Like the no burp challenge with Sprite. You know that one. That might be a fun one. That's a bet. Loser has to chug a Sprite without burping.
No.
Yeah.
Puke everywhere.
But that's why it's a good bet, and why I mean you're so sure the Niners are going to do something bad to us.
Yeah.
Put your soda burps where I don't drink soda, so it's a bad bet. Anyways, we don't have to bet. We're getting lost in the sauce.
We should really figure out what would it be a good thing to bet.
Loser has to get their first tattoo.
Nope, you already have 1,000 of them.
That's true.
Okay. Loser has to do the next episode without a shirt on.
Okay. Speaking of tattoos, that's fine.
No, that's not a good one. You're skinny. Yeah. You can do that.
I'm not as skinny as I once was. 35-year-old body isn't treating me as well as it used to. We'll figure it out. And
yeah, you know what? I'll still be willing to do it. I'll do it.
Whatever. Yeah, you're gonna report live with the cameras.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I want to talk about this game where the Packers won. I'm really glad the Packers won. It's cold in here.
Here's the other thing. I'm gonna be at that game.
Oh, cool. Well, then I can't believe you're willingly going to a game you think you're going to lose. What kind of fanatic are you?
Well, I'm. Don't tell me I'm a fan, John. I feel the way I feel. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
And also, look, going into the bye week, I wasn't happy with this Packers team.
Yeah.
Coming out of the bye week, I'm not happy with this Packers team.
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to use history to form how I feel about the team.
Well, history says they're winning more than they're losing. They're at a 70% win rate.
They're not playing well.
Hey, man, the scoreboard doesn't remember. Sometimes I wonder if we get too lost in the sauce, and at the end of the day, wins are wins. So I don't know. We'll see.
Say that today.
Sure can. Watch, I just did. Run the tape back. Hey, so the episode's ending soon. Here's the quick Bucks check-in because they still haven't done much. They are playing way better. It's just not translating to wins, and that's annoying. Yeah, but the wins will come. The wins will come. Do I think this team's going to get in the top 4 or 5 of the East? No, we're running out of time straight up, but I think that they're good enough to figure it out later. I don't want to have another field conversation, but what I will say is that ticky-tacky call that the entire league is agreeing ruined the game for the Bucks is so frustrating. And Wisconsin sports fans needed the Packers to figure out a way to win today, so I'm glad they did because
You're
my
correct.
Ducks beat the Badgers yesterday.
Don't say that.
They're my Ducks because they were never my Badgers, so
They're not my Badgers either. But don't claim the Duck.
they're my Ducks, dude. They're the number one team in the nation. They're my Ducks,
God.
dude. They're throwing the pill
We just
around my
lost
backyard.
all 4 of our followers now.
No,
Don't say that.
and we gained Justice Mosqueda probably. You know.
I don't know who that is.
He's a NFL Packer dude. He worked with the XFL. He's on. He writes for I forget which Packers blog, but he lives in Portland and he talks about the Ducks all the time. So just a fun little crossover.
Yeah, don't really care about the Badgers either.
Yeah, go Ducks. Green and gold.
To the OC that lost his job. Anyway.
Yeah. What was his name? Like Dick Chungus?
Something Lingo. Something
Longo. Phil Longo.
Phil Lingo.
I'm surprised it wasn't Dick Chungus. That's crazy.
I think there's an app. I think his name
wasn't
the name of an app. Duolingo, something.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope Dick Chungus finds another job soon.
And I hope that the Packers prove me wrong and that somehow this was a wake-up call and they still got away with it. Because as we said, after all of this, which we just complained for an hour, by the way, they won. They won. By the way, we didn't talk about this. Were you just watching the game? Did you just watch the whole game? I'd given up.
I watched the whole game.
Jack he needed a change. Little baby needed a change.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they got that first down on the 3rd and 19, I was like, all right, bud, now it's time. And I took him and I was like, it's over. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And then Julie screamed. My wife screamed from the other room. And I went, what? Because, usually she's not because of football.
Yeah.
And she was like, they missed the kick. They missed the kick. I went, you got to be kidding me. So I didn't even see it live.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it live.
I love it.
Almost made it better. Because I feel like if I would have watched it, he would have made it. Because that's how I fan.
So then you better hang out in the concourse the entire game.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to spend 75% of the time in the pro shop, baby.
Nice. Ooh, do you get a discount there? You got any hookups?
I don't know.
No? Well, yeah, you probably don't. Let's talk off air. You probably don't, for sure.
Yeah. You okay? Something wrong with your eye?
Yeah. I had too much mercury in my salmon today.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. All right. So next week, not sure when the pod's going to drop because I'm going to be at the game.
Yeah.
But check on Twitter. We'll make sure to get that out there. And then we have our predictions. Let's hope that next episode I'm not wearing a shirt.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Don't Tell Me How to Fan. Thank you, Brooks, for making this something we can still celebrate. The Bears still suck. John, I love you. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Tune in next time because we're not done yet.